East Africa is in great shock at the news of the passing on of one of the political giants in the region, the late Benjamin Mkapa. Many Kenyans will remember Benjamin Mkapa best for the role he played with others like the late Kofi Annan in negotiating peace after the chaos and post-election violence witnessed after the 2007 presidential elections. And most notably, his revelation that the negotiators for peace were going absolutely nowhere until they threw out two individuals, two prominent members from both sides from the negotiations. Only then were they able to get a breakthrough. And of course, the two individuals he mentioned were William Samoei Ruto, for the ODM Raila Odinga side, oh yes, and Martha Karua for Mwai Kibaki. But who really was Benjamin Mkapa? What significant role did he play in Tanzanian politics? On today's show, I want us to take a deeper look at that. And indeed, it's extremely fascinating. So if you have your cup of coffee, if you have your popcorn, relax. Because today's ride is going to be quite some ride. Now, although Benjamin Mkapa was press secretary to legendary African and Tanzanian leader, indeed the Tanzanian founding father, Mwalimu Julius Kabarage Nyerere, the truth is, Mkapa would have remained completely unknown had it not been for the very dramatic events of mid-1995. 1995, of course, was a general election year in Tanzania. And it was a very unique year because for the first time, the country called Tanzania was going to hold a multi-party presidential election. And political temperatures in the country were extremely high, unusually high. More so because then retired President Julius Nyerere had broken his silence and had started showing a lot of concern for the future of politics in Tanzania. In one memorable statement he said, and I'm paraphrasing, Mwalimu said that although he had retired from politics, he was not just going to stand by and watch the country go to the dogs. Nyerere had also criticized the party he had founded, CCM, Chama cha Mapinduzi, and even the man he had handpicked to take over the presidency, when he had made the shocking move of stepping down from the presidency about 10 years earlier. Indeed, he had called President Ali Hassan Mwinyi a weak president. It was clear to the country called Tanzania that Mwalimu Julius Nyerere was very concerned, extremely concerned, about who would take over the presidency from President Ali Hassan Mwinyi, whom he had described as weak. Now, to any serious political analyst in Tanzania, it was quite clear that although these were multi-party elections, the next president of Tanzania would be from the CCM party, Chama cha Mapinduzi. Just like the president whose term was coming to an end, Ali Hassan Mwinyi, he was also from CCM. And so it also became clear very early on that the president of Tanzania would be decided once the CCM nominated its flag bearer. The rest would be a formality. Especially with Nyerere crisscrossing the country, campaigning for whoever would be nominated as the CCM candidate. Now, the late Nyerere was a very principled person. So many wondered, how Nyerere would crisscross the country, campaigning for somebody like Edward Lowassa, who was already a front runner to be nominated by the CCM party in mid-June 1995. And it was super interesting that he had presented his nomination papers on the same day as yet another candidate, Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete. Kikwete was a former military man, but it was known that Kikwete and Lowassa were very tight. But there were a number of other top candidates for the presidency, that Tanzanians were paying attention to. And the long list did not include a quiet, unassuming politician called Benjamin Mkapa, who had presented his nomination papers very early, on May 7th. Very few were paying any attention to Mkapa. And he continued to be ignored, even after Nyerere efforts managed to disqualify the man whom many saw as the top contender, Edward Lowassa. And the way Nyerere knocked him out of the race for the presidency is very interesting and instructive. At the time, Lowassa was only 43 years old, but extremely wealthy. And all Nyerere did was to highlight his youthful age and then question the source of his wealth. Kwisha maneno. You know how you can call somebody corrupt without using any word that nears the word corruption? You just ask one or two questions. The message gets across. Politically, kwisha maneno for that presidential race. But what Nyerere did not know, and probably discovered very late in the game, is the fact that Bwana Edward Lowassa had his secret trump card hidden up his sleeve. And that secret trump card was his bosom buddy and close friend, Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete. And in the first round of voting in Dodoma, to decide who would be the flag bearer for CCM in the 1995 presidential elections, Jakaya Kikwete emerged victorious with 534 votes to Benjamin Mkapa's 459 votes. It was very clear that in the second round, Kikwete would carry the day. It was crystal clear that Nyerere's appeal to the delegates had not gotten through. And if it had, money was a stronger motivation, which Edward Lowassa had plenty of, and was fully backing Jakaya Kikwete for the CCM nomination. But it is also clear, in retrospect, that Lowassa, in this battle with Nyerere, greatly underestimated the master politician and founder of the Tanzanian nation. Because after the first round of voting, Mwalimu Julius Nyerere called for a tea break. And of course, being a founder of the party, there was nobody who was going to deny him a tea break. And it was during that tea break that everything changed. And indeed changed the story we write today from what it would have been a former press secretary of Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, Benjamin Mkapa, passes on to a former president of Tanzania, Benjamin Mkapa, passes on. Now, one of the quotes that emerged from Julius Nyerere during this very chaotic and interesting political period in Tanzania is worth quoting. And I'm going to share it with you. Mwalimu Julius Nyerere said, he told the delegates, that if you like somebody's face, he was saying all this in Kiswahili, so I'm translating. If you like somebody's face, that's okay. Buy him a cup of tea. However, just because you like somebody's face, you should never hand over something critical like the presidency of a nation to such a person. Now, that is powerful. In other words, you don't give the presidency to a pretty face you like. You only hand over the presidency to somebody you really trust. Indeed, somebody you can entrust your life with. That's really what it is. And I've shared that because that's an important lesson for Kenyans going into the next elections. Yeah, choosing who will be the next president of the Republic of Kenya. It is okay to like whoever you're proposing. However, go and buy them a cup of tea. But don't hand them over the presidency for your sake and for the sake of your children, generations to come. Anyway, back to our story. Because of Nyerere, and only because of Nyerere, Benjamin Mkapa triumphed in the second and final round of voting. Because he garnered 689 votes to Kikwete's 639. It was still close. They were separated only by 50 votes. A mere 50 delegates decided out of the total of 1,330. Fare thee well, Benjamin Mkapa, until we meet again. Until next time, this is Chris Komekucha.